Okay, welcome. Please take a comfortable seat on your mat and we'll start. So, start with a little bit of breathing and making some space in our spine, some space in our torso. I don't really know how much space is actually being created in your spine, but that's what it feels like energetically. So, you can close the eyes or soften the gaze. Just take a moment to kind of relax your chest, relax your shoulders. Breathe in and out through the nose. And as you start to breathe and pay attention to that breathing, relax a little more, but you're still upright. Almost like you're trying to relax as much as possible without losing that uprightness. And then slowly start to sprout. Start to sprout with a little bit of a bolstered lift. Might feel like your chest is rising or your heart, but really you're actually toning your back muscles a little more. You're sort of toning your back muscles to bolster yourself. Feels like you're sitting even a little more upright. But then relax everything else without losing that space, without losing that lift. And do this one more time. Tone the back. Might feel like the shoulder blades move a little closer together. You might feel like your ribs come a little more forward. But you'll get a little taller as well. This will feel that way. Keep that inner bolstering, but relax everything else. Take a long breath in and a long breath out. Good. Stretch your left arm up high to the sky and try to pull back on that left shoulder and arm. Breathe and make space between the left ear and shoulder. Then change sides. Same idea. Squeeze that upper right side of the back. Create some tone and some space. And then come back to neutral. Tip the head over to the right. Open the left side of your neck. Inhale back up. Let's go to the second side. Inhale back up. Bring the arms out like a W shape. W shape. And pull the thumbs back, toning both shoulder blades toward the spine. This is that same thing, the back muscles engaging the spine, bolstering your sense of uprightness. Breathe here. Good. Rock forward to tabletop pose. In tabletop pose, without just collapsing and hanging like a hammock, tone your back muscles. Tone your back muscles and then grip the mat with the pads of your toes. Grip the mat with the pads of your toes and almost like you're trying to kind of flick a match with your toes. Start a mat between the mat and your toe. As you do that, push back through your inner thighs as you open your chest. Let's just breathe here a few breaths so we open up the hips, spine, and shoulders. So it's a cow-shaped pose, but it's a little more active. Muscles are actively engaging. Good. Go ahead, walk the knees back and lie on your belly. Position your hands under your shoulders and draw your shoulder blades up and towards each other. Breathe here. Keep that squeeze of the muscle, this tone. I was taught we can call this sensation muscle energy. The muscle is toning and hugging to the bone and hugging to the center, toward the center of your body. We're focusing on the shoulders. Breathe here. Good. Push down through your hands. Keep squeezing the muscle of the back of the shoulder as you rise up. Toning the muscle there. And then slowly relax down, and then relax the effort. Try it again. Tone the muscles between your shoulder blades, squeezing inward. Even wrap, almost like you're squeezing your upper arms towards your ribs. Feel that hug and warmth of muscle energy. Keep that, and then use your arms to push up into a cobra. Keep breathing as you stretch open the front body. Good. Relax down, and then relax any tension. Last round, same exact thing. Squeeze the muscles of the shoulders. Squeeze the arms even towards the shoulders and muscle and upper back. Keep that feeling of hugging in and press up slightly for cobra. Keep drawing the muscles back. Maybe you can open the throat a little more into that stability of strength. Push back, child's pose. The idea behind this muscular engagement is to create more stability for ourselves. It's about being present, being alert, and drawing into ourselves with what we can actually control. You can tone your muscles. And it can improve the quality of your poses. Good. Press back, downward facing dog pose. Press down through your hands, even your finger pads. Press strong, like you can feel the palm of your hand engage, kind of almost feel like it wants to lift up, like a suction cup. Keep that feeling and pull your hips back. Opening up the spine into the posture. Good. Everyone, bend your knees just a little bit so you can pull back through the back of your hips a little bit more easily. Good. Pedal out your feet a few breaths, just sinking down through one heel and then the other, bending the alternating knee. Mindfully continue to keep the hands strong on the mat, providing stability. Walk your feet to the front of your yoga mat. Shift the weight onto your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Open the arms out like a field goal post. Tone your hands, make them alive and active. Pull back on your elbows and shoulders, toning the upper back and lifting up. As you lift up, push down through the balls of your feet so you can lengthen the belly a little bit. Exhale, slide your hands down the legs. You can shift your hips back. Inhale, come up, open up your arm like a field goal post, or we can call them cactus arms. Squeeze and tone the muscles. Breathe in. And then exhale, slide the hands down the legs. Shift the hips back to stay balanced. Inhale, come up. Open the arms up. This time, reach back and join your hands behind you in any form that you can. Pull the hands back and away from you, bringing the chest forward. Slightly opening the throat. Breathe. Release the hands and step your right foot back, planting the whole foot down. Planting the whole foot down, push out through your front knee. You're going to place both hands right above the knee, right at the base of the thigh. So one hand's on the outside, one hand's on the inside. Good. Push down through your feet. Listen carefully, ever so gently hug the muscles of your leg and turn. Slide the inner hand down and the outer hand up. So you actually feel the muscle kind of release a little bit while you're holding. Yeah. Keep that feeling in the leg, let go, and lift your arms up. For me, when I do that, I have a little more pressure on the inner line of my foot. The left big toe feels more grounded than the right side, than the outer edge. Exhale, step forward, bow forward. We'll try it again. It can be a little complicated to get the hang of how much effort to put in. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release the arms. Bend your knees. And step the left leg back, planting the foot. Tilt forward and hold just above the knee, the muscle of the upper leg. And hugging with your hands, rotate the muscle in so the thigh is turning in and down. The left hand goes down, the right hand goes up. Very gentle. And you can feel how the muscle sort of gently changes the shape. Keep that feeling, but let go and rise up. We call this internal rotation. Internal rotation, what you did with your legs. Exhale, step forward. Bend the knees slightly as you bow. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Open the arms up, cactus arms. Pull the elbows and shoulders back to broaden across your heart. Toning the muscles of the upper back, the front body can open. If it's available, push down through the balls of your feet and lift up the heels just to maybe an inch or a half inch, or just get lighter on them. Exhale, plant your heels and step the right leg back once again. Support your hands on your hips like this. Push down through the feet. As you push down through your feet, start to hug. Imagine there's a tiny little wall underneath your body, and you are hugging the legs toward the wall, like you were dividing your mat. There's a line going down your mat, and you were squeezing in towards that midline of the mat with your legs. Keep that squeezing and lift up through your spine and chest. Breathe here as you pull your elbows and shoulders back. Good. Step forward, gently bow to release the spine. Inhale, come back up. Excuse me. Exhale, hands to your heart. Bend your knees, step the left leg back. Hands on hips. Press through your feet and bring, like you're squeezing the mat towards the mid-line of the mat, like a scissor energy. They don't move, you just tone your muscles this way. And now lift and rise up and back. Looks great. Looks great. Stay present. We're not growing tense. We're just giving a little hug of muscular stability. Bend your knees, step forward, and give a gentle fold. You'll find your blocks if it suits you, and then step back to downward dog. Press down to kneeling on your knees. Push your knees and your feet down into the earth as you scoop your chest forward. Good. Sit your hips back any amount that feels good on your knees. Walk the hands back. Rise up. Swoop the arms up. Gently press the hips forward and down as you lift up. And release. You can bring the forehead to the mat or just rest your hands and come down any amount. Take a few breaths here. You may use the blocks for support on this next one. You're going to lift up to a tabletop. It's like a pigeon, but it's much more narrow. Slide the right knee forward. You don't have to take the foot across. Just slide the knee forward and then walk the leg back, the other leg back. Good. So almost like the foot is directly under your hips rather than across you like pigeon. Good. Push your knees down. Push your knees down and squeeze the inner thighs towards each other. Notice what happens in your hips. Push the knees down and squeeze the inner thighs toward each other. Now lift and rise up out of the hips from here. Good. Step back, downward facing dog. Come down to kneeling. Let's try our second side. Push the left knee forward. Take the right knee back, any amount. Stay strong in your balance. To help that strength, press down through your knees and gently hug the inner thighs towards each other. Notice what happens in the hips and the tops of the leg bones. Breathe here. For me, I get a sense of more freedom of movement and spaciousness in my hips when I activate my legs in this way. Good. Step back, downward facing dog. Walk forward, forward bend. And shift the weight over your feet before rising up. Hands to your heart. Stretch your left hand high into the sky, almost like you're reaching up with your palm too to catch a snowflake. Push down with your right hand, so it's like they're in a mirror to each other, rising up and rooting down. Now push out through your palms, so you feel a slight shift in your spine and shoulder blades. Keep breathing here, just reaching that energy up and down with the hands. Good. Switch. Good. Switch, lift both arms up high into the sky. And then bring the hands down by the legs. Bend your knees and press into your thighs. Good. Bow forward, hands on the blocks. And step the right leg back again. Keep your heel lifted this time if you can. And push through it. Push down through your feet and hug the inseams of your legs towards the midline of the mat. Keep that gentle squeeze as you push down, and maybe a little more challenging to lift up, but you can plant the back heel if it's easier. But lift up into a high lunge otherwise, hugging the midline with your legs and feet. Use that balance. Keep squeezing in, even with the inner knee. The inner knee is maybe the most important part. Good. Bow forward, step forward, bend your knees nice and deep, and then inhale, come all the way up. Hands to your sides. Bend your knees. Slide the fingertips down. Hold the blocks, and go ahead and step your left leg back, pushing through the back heel. Take a moment, press down through the feet, and hug in with the inseams of your legs. Sustain the effort, but don't work so hard that you forget to breathe or that you grow tense or rigid. The muscles should still be supple. With that suppleness yet sturdy strength, root down and use your balance to rise up, squeezing in at the inner knee ever so slightly, but not collapsing. Sustain it as you breathe in the high lunge. Place your hands on the blocks or the mat and step back, downward facing dog pose. We'll be here just a moment before shifting into plank pose. Go ahead, push down on the floor and step your feet as wide as your yoga mat, the narrow width of your yoga mat. Push through the big toe mound and direct the inner thighs back. Breathe here, hold the pose. Exhale, come down to the knees and then lower down. Squeeze your upper back muscles like we worked on earlier, and then scoop forward into cobra. Exhale, push back, knees wide, feet close together, child's pose. Place your hands, come back up, and bring the right knee forward once again, the same exact pose we did earlier. This time, take your hand to the outer thigh of the front leg. From the hip all the way down. Here is called the IT band. Ischial tuberosity, I think it's called. The IT band, it's like a tendon that connects along here. The strong cable can grow very, very tight. When you press your knees down and squeeze the knee, the inner knee towards each other, or squeeze the inner thigh towards each other, you release the tension in the IT band. Press the knees down and squeeze the inner thighs a little bit. Now walk your back knee back just a little bit without losing that strength. Good, inhale, lift up. Don't overwork. Don't think too hard. Try to feel the value of the action. Try to feel how the instruction supports your well-being in your body. Then you know you have it. Good. Step back, downward dog for just a moment before returning to tabletop. Push the left knee forward and resume the same idea. You'll push the knees down. You can take your moment to run the hand along that outer thigh to get in touch with that IT band. Push the knees down and hug the inner thighs towards the midline. As you keep that action, walk the back knee back, deepening the understanding of the pose, the technique. Rise up through your core. Good. Step back, downward facing dog just for a moment. You can come over the hands with your shoulders, plank or kneeling plank, whatever suits you. Step your feet as wide as your yoga mat. Breathe here. And then exhale, lower down. The knees can touch first if you prefer. Squeeze the upper muscles of your back. Inhale, scoop it forward, cobra. And then exhale, press back, downward facing dog pose. Did I ask the little kids if they knew any of the pose names? And the one girl goes, downward facing doggo. Downward facing doggos. Walk the feet forward. Forward fold. Shift the weight over your feet before rising up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Interlock the fingers. Push the palms away and then up. Try to stay perfect like a spiral barbershop. Pull yourself to the left, to the right, back to center. Release the arms down. Try it again. Interlock the fingers, maybe other hand on top. Push up and away. Stay strong like a pillar, but barbershop pull to the right. Keep breathing. Barbershop pull to the left. Back to center. And then release your hands by your sides. Good. Press your palms down like you were resting them on a table ledge. As you press your palms down, feel how it pulls your shoulder blades down. As you pull your shoulder blades down, open up the front body, looking up at the sky. Exhale, hands down the legs, touch the blocks. Inhale, look forward, flat back pose. Exhale, release. Inhale, look forward, flat back pose. Now squeeze the legs towards each other without them moving. You're just toning the inseam of the leg. And then if you can, you look at your knees and turn the knees, especially if they're pointed outward. Turn the knees so they point perfectly straight over the toes, and you'll feel a release in the outer thigh. Inhale, come back up. Bring a block with you if you have it. And then release your hands down. Just to go over this action again, it's going to be a little more overt to feel that you're going to take the block and you're going to place it right in between the upper knee. This squeezing that you're doing to keep the block from falling, that's exactly what we've been talking about when we're hugging the mat or scissoring the legs, in the standing postures. It's the same muscular action, you just don't have the prop to support you. Bow forward and squeeze on the block. Don't do it, just think that you're doing it. Direct the block back behind you towards the back of the legs. That inner squeeze, put space in the hip. If you're careful, you may even feel which leg is stronger, which leg can squeeze better. Try to keep that action as you inhale, rise up, lift up. And stay lifting, stay looking up as you bend your knees back down, engaging the same cue we just talked about. Good, reach down, remove the block, but don't lose the sensation that we just worked on. Pretend like the block is still there. Good, from here, step back, warrior two with the left foot in front. So step your right leg back. Good, now here, if we squeeze too much, the knee actually collapses in. Can you see in the camera? My knee collapses in. We don't want to do that. We want to pretend that there's a wall there and the knee is squeezing against it. That activates the muscles without overly rotating the joints. Good, lift up the front arm and step back to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up. Exhale, sit low. Create that hugging action and step the other side back. Without collapsing the knee in, hug the inseam. Feel the benefit of the action in the body. Inhale, lift the top arm up. Exhale, windmill to the front of your mat. Bow forward and step back to a plank pose. Breathe in the plank pose. Exhale, lower down all the way to the mat this time. Point your toes behind you. Roll your thighs in so that your kneecaps point down. Now you can overdo this, so listen to your body. Just enough internal rotation to release the tension in the outer hip. That's all you need. Take the hands wide, wider than the mat, and pitch your fingers like tent poles. Push down through the 10 fingertips, rising up into a gentle, wide cobra. Good, try to direct the inner thighs back and out through the toes. Releasing the hips and the low back. Good, release the posture and prop yourself up under your right elbow. No, over your right elbow, like so. Reach back with your left hand and hold your foot. Today, push your left knee down a little bit as you draw the foot towards your outer hip. It doesn't have to get there. As you press the back knee down and draw the foot towards the outer hip, gaze towards the right shoulder or over it. Release that leg and switch. Which arm is propping you up? Hold the other foot. Press down with the right knee to draw the foot to the outer hip. Then look over the left shoulder. If you're having trouble holding your foot with your hand, use a strap. Bring the foot closer. Breathe and try to observe from your own experience. What is the benefit? What is the purpose of this inner rotation? How does it bring me to balance without taking me past it? Something that we can feel in order to understand. Release the leg. Place the hands under the shoulders. Inhale, press up, cobra, and then back, downward facing dog. Deep breaths here. Walk out and pedal the dog. And step forward to forward bend. Shift your weight over your feet before rising up to mountain. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take the hands, interlock them, and place them behind your head. Press the head against the hands. You can press the hands a little against the skull. You open your chest and gaze. Breathe here. Don't look up too high, but then turn your head and look out to the right elbow. Keep this and tilt the body. Left elbow goes up, right elbow goes down. Inhale up, turn the gaze the other direction. You can interlock the fingers the other way if you prefer. And then tilt to the second side. The tilting helps your gaze look downward. Inhale back up. And release the hands down. Wonderful. Take a moment to stand in mountain pose and see if you can feel the hips more relaxed and grounded from this internal rotation practice. They should feel looser, yet also more relaxed. Good. Staying with it, bend your knees, step your left leg back. This time we'll straighten both legs. So it's a warrior one feet, but both legs are straight. Push the legs down, and now squeeze towards the midline of the mat. Remember that block we had earlier, and direct this block, which is not possible because your legs are asymmetrical, but energetically direct the inner thighs back. They'll kind of push your tush back. There you go. And then just tip forward a little bit. Maybe just a quarter of the way. Hands on the hips. Good. Anchor down through the back heel and the big toe mounds of both feet. Breathe. Stay another moment longer. Stay with the balance. Stay with the engaged legs and tip a little bit further or any further amount that works for the body without having to round your spine. Yes, good. Keep the upper back active. Good, Kathy. Inhale, rise up. Reach the hands down and back like two swords drawn back behind you, pulling the shoulders back. Keep pressing down through your legs all at the same time. Active muscle energy. Now bend your knees and step into chair pose. Exhale, rise up. Take a moment just to feel. Bend your knees and let's step the right leg back. Press down through the feet. With legs straight, start to squeeze the inseam of the leg towards each other. With that steady sense of tone, direct the inner thighs back. Just enough to feel the benefit, to feel the purpose. Good. From here, keep those strong, stable, open legs and tilt about a quarter of the way. Maintaining the stability of the feet and legs. Breathe here, endure. Right? We're not trying to hurt ourselves, we're enduring the challenge, not any pain. There should be no pain. And if you can go a little further now, take the pose to its edge without rounding the spine, still an active upper back. Press down through that back heel, almost like you're spiraling, rotating through the muscle, spiraling the muscle around the bones. Inhale, rise up, stay upright, stay active, and direct your arms down and back on a diagonal, toning the upper back to lift up. Looks great. Breathe here. Muscles are toned but not tense. Creates a state of present alertness. Bend your knees, step into chair, and then release the posture, mountain. Inhale, rise up, lift up your left arm and bend the elbow. Go ahead and grab that elbow with your right hand and slowly pull the elbow more behind the head. Feel the stretch happening in the trap. Or I'm sorry, the tricep. Maybe the stretch in the trap too. Yeah, definitely. Good. Gently press your head against that arm and take your gaze slightly to the left. Release the stretch. Inhale, lift up with the right arm. Bend the elbow, like you're patting yourself on the upper back. Reach up with the left hand, hold the elbow, wait a moment. Feel the resistance, and then work with the resistance to deepen the stretch. You can turn the gaze slightly to the right. Inhale, release. Bow forward. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step back. Breathe through the posture. Lengthen from the sit bones, lengthen to the palms of the hands, like two parallel lines from the sit bones to the palms. So the spine can float in the middle. Come down to the knees. Sit the hips back slow. Inhale, come forward, send the left knee forward. And this time you can, in fact, take the foot a little bit across, but just a little bit. So the left heel is under the right hip. So it's not even still a pigeon at the degree we're used to. Once again, push the knees down and sort of hug the inner thighs towards each other. Same action we've been working on. And then as you keep that muscular action, you can walk or scoot the back knee back. Press down through your palms. If you've got blocks, put your palms on the blocks and push down through the blocks. So your shoulder blades come down. As your shoulder blades come down, lift up through the spine. Breathe here. Is available to you. You're going to come down onto your left elbow and slide your right hand out as far as it'll go. And press the right palm down for stability. Inhale back up. Step back, downward dog briefly before returning to tabletop. Sit back. And when you're ready, push the right knee forward. And take the right foot just enough across so that it's kind of under the left hip. Engage the muscular energy of the upper leg by pushing down through your knees and hugging the inner thighs gently towards each other. Feel the benefit. Feel how it brings balance to the hips. And if you want, you can walk the back knee back to deepen the sensation. Push down through your hands to pull your shoulders down as you rise up through the chest. Alignment is not some doctrine or creed, like you have to follow it. It's an opportunity to pay attention to your own personal experience. If you'd like, lower down to your right elbow and slide the left hand forward. Now, I suppose you can just trust that it's the right thing to do, but in my opinion, a deeper form of knowing is from your own direct experience, for you to directly perceive why we would engage these actions. I believe the Sanskrit for this is pratyaksha, direct experience is a way of knowing something. Continue to press down through the left palm as you reach it away. Inhale, place the hands underneath you and press back, downward facing dog pose. Whereas I'm now going to let you do downward facing doggo. Pedal out the heels. Just gently. And walk the feet forward. Shift the weight over the feet before rising up, mountain. We'll take a moment to use the wall space. The wall will be in front of you if you're going to use the wall, or a chair will be in front of you if you're going to use the chair. Shift your weight over to your right foot. Actually, as a matter of fact, before you even do that, spread your toes and then press down through the big toe, the mound of the big toe, and the inner heel. Don't lift up the outer edge. Just make sure that the inner edge is rooted down, right? So the outer edge is still down, but we're emphasizing the inner edge. And pretend like there was still a block between your legs and hug. Our knees don't collapse. We just feel the muscle hug. Keep that in the right leg and bring up the left knee. You can hold it with one hand or both, or the other hand can be at the wall. Keep that inner squeezing happening that we just talked about. Good. Even flex your left foot, which is lifted, and imagine that it was still pressing down on the mat, like we did a moment ago. So you can lift up through your crown and get a moment of balance, maybe just lightly holding the wall. Use it as you need it. And release down. Really good job. Try to keep the muscles active and present. Once again, in mountain pose, activate the inseam of the foot and the inseam of the leg. Feel the benefit of how it tones the hips, but also creates more freedom. Shift your weight and bring up the right knee. Breathe. And relax down. The seasons are slightly changing. Give me a moment while I walk and change the light. Practice your mountain pose. Let's see, that make my space brighter? There we go. Balancing pose, second side. Mountain pose first, shift into the right foot. This time when you bend your knee, you're gonna reach back and try to hold the ankle or foot. And keep the knees close to each other. If you can't reach your foot, use a strap. Press down through the inseam of the standing leg still. Almost think that you're squeezing your knees together. Keep that sensation. Inner thighs hugging towards each other, activating. And maybe just bring the knee 1 inch back. Maybe 2 inches back. Keep that inseam of the leg strong and engaged, maybe 3 inches back. This may be the pose, because we don't want the knee to flail out. And if you want to go any further now, feel welcome to. Focusing on the inseam of the standing leg, like you were on edge of an ice skate. Inhale back up and release the leg. Good job. Working on keeping this internal energy. Shift mountain pose, but then left leg down, hold the right. Keep the knees close together to start, to keep that same sensation as if there was still a block there. Actually, you could potentially try this pose with a block. I think I like it better with the knees a little closer than that. Keep that sensation, but bring the knee just 1 inch back. Maybe 2. Maybe 3. Keep the continued tone to create more space in the hips as you continue any further into the pose without letting the knee spill outward. And come back. Last balancing posture. This time you'll stand for this first round so the wall is on the left side of your body. Create the tone of the inseam of the leg. Root it down as you bring up your right knee and hold it across the knee. You actually can grab across the IT band, across the outer leg here. And you can pull the muscle like we did earlier. So you're lengthening the IT band and kind of internally rotating the thigh muscle as you twist, focusing on the leg. I'll get closer to the screen so you can see what I mean here. As I lift up this leg, I'm coming across, I'm holding under, and my hand is actually it actually moves the muscle a little bit. It rotates the muscle to help create that rotation. So you just hold here and you let the weight of the arm rotate, and this should create more space for the twist. Yeah, looks good. I think the closer to the knee, the better, the more activity you can get. Let's try the other side. Root down through the left leg, bring up the right. Rotate the leg and then twist. Keep breathing. And relax. Good. You'll now step your toes to the outer edge of your mat. Your heels will be turned in just slightly. This is called external rotation, where the knees want to turn out. It's a good way to counter, but don't counter too much as you bend your knees into squat. Finding that perfect balance between the two. Please come down to a kneeling posture with the knees together and the feet apart. You can sit on a prop or props between the heels, or sit right on the floor. Take the heel of the hand and place it near the outer hip. Place it against, and you're just going to give like a gentle massage almost, sliding the hand down the outer seam of the leg. Just trying to direct the energy. And if you want, you can even finish with the hands sort of turning in and ending up on the top of the knee. You're encouraging that internal rotation without demanding it of the body. One more time. Good. Bring the low back in and just gently lift up. And sit back to an upright position. Close your eyes and focus on your spine. Visualize it like a pillar, straight up and down. Keep the pillar straight up and down. Breathe as you try to relax your muscles. Even think about your muscles like ribbons or silks that laid on top of your bone structure. They were not tight or hardened. They were just fabric that laid on top of your bones. You could feel the fluid nature of them, the watery nature of them. A few more deep breaths. Continue to think of the bones, especially the spine, like a pillar, and the muscles like fluid ribbons, silks, draped over them. Feel this in your face, your shoulders, your chest, your arms, your torso, your back, your hips, and your legs. Slowly bow forward, remove the props. Cross your ankles and sit back. The legs outstretched a moment. Just hang here now like a rag doll. Continuing to embody this quality of silken muscles, effortless action. And then slowly, when you're ready, roll back and lay on your mat. Bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor. Push down with your feet a little bit. When you push down and away with your feet, notice how it slides your shoulder blades down your back and lengthens your neck. Try it again. Push down and away with your feet in such a way that your hips don't lift, but your shoulder blades slide down the back and you lengthen the neck. Listen close as you walk your right foot to the middle, then stack your left knee on top of the right. So your knees are stacked like eagle legs almost. Put your right hand over the left knee like we did standing and drop the legs into a twist. You can take your hand down the IT band. Encourage a gentle internal rotation. Inhale, back up. Take a moment to recenter yourself. You can push with the feet again. Now, take the left foot to the middle. Stack the right knee on top of the left. And with the left hand over the knee, direct the knees into a twist. Inhale, bring the legs back up. Walk the feet apart and let the knees fall towards each other. Just rest a moment and breathe. Even rest your hands on your belly. This sensation is a passive variation of what we've been working on, internal rotation. Even rest the hands on the thighs and turn them in slightly to help feel the nuance of that action. You can overdo it. Look for balance, look for freedom of sensation in the hips and thighs. This action is balanced in the body by external rotation. Walk the feet together. Place the soles together as you let the knees drop open. Here you can feel how the thighs have turned out. Our hip mobility is a balance between these two actions. Often when we're in hip pain, it's because one of these two actions is overpowering the other. So much like life, we have to find the middle way. Slowly slide the legs out long on your mat. Breathe. Stretch your legs out and your arms out. Take a moment to sort of bolster your heart by wrapping the shoulder blades in, or even pressing down with your elbows and your shoulders, so the ribs float just slightly. And then rest your body. Stretch your body. And press to a comfortable seat. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.